The early days of Anime America were a simple time. A time where we could take our time editing our videos. A time where copyright was nothing to worry about. A time where we could say whatever without easily offending anyone. Many faces have come and gone, like this one here, Hannah. She appeared in one of our early top 10 lists from way back when. Whatever happened to her? We shall find out tonight here on Behind the Anime.
Robyn, I'm right here.
Shortly after her 15 minutes of fame, Hannah became an online yandere, constantly stalking her YouTube senpai.
Seriously, Robyn?
Teehee. Well, welcome back, Hannah.
Good to be back, Robyn.
Now that we've taken care of your introduction, as we silence those "who's that" comments, I'm gonna get back to work now.
Well, what are you working on this time?
Just another top 10 list, of course.
Oh, do you need any help?
Who are you again?
I'm Tara. From the podcast. The one you rarely show up for?
Oh yeah, that thing. Well, I appreciate the help, but I think I can handle this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no worries, I got this.
Oh look, here she comes.
Bitch, get back here! We need another victim! I mean, player.
The humanity!
Hello?
Shannon!
What's wrong?
This list, I can't even handle it. I thought it was going to be a simple list. A nice, simple list. But the candidates, they're so deplorable. I can't even stand them.
What's this list about again?
Top 10 worst couples in anime. As we have covered the most romantic couples and the most tragic ones, we are here to cover the worst of the worst couples in anime history. Couples that have a relationship so bad and nonsensical, we question how the hell are they in a relationship?
Well, how bad could it be, really?
See for yourself. Well? Oh, come on! I am not doing this list alone, one way or another.
Okay, let's see. Hideyoshi, it's a trap. The ending of Berserk, it's a trap. Boku no Pico, it's a trap. Uranus, it's a trap. And a blank card.
This little rat here.
Contract?
Well, that just wins automatically. What the?
What's going on?
All of you are going to suffer with me.
Again.
Top 10 worst couples of anime.
Number 10. Have you ever met a couple where you feel so sad for one party involved? Like a time where you go, damn, they deserve so much better. A time where you realize you could replace one of them with a concrete brick, and it would be a vast improvement. Hideki, aka Rusian, and Akko from Netoge, aka And You Never Thought There Was a Girl Online. Like, seriously, I feel for Rusian here. So he got scorned by his first online love who said they were a dude, and ended up actually being his teacher. Just shut up and go with it, it'll make the pain easier. And what does he end up with? He ends up married to an inept healer with the love of sparkly things and the inability to tell the game from the real world. I get the show is trying to make Akko all cutesy and waifu baity, but she comes off as an insufferable psychopath, surrounded by friends and adults who don't help with actual therapy and treatment, but only put her into more video game-based shit, causing crazy antics that only get worse. And even worse is the fact that Rusian, aka Hideki, starts to fall for her. Dude, get out! She's actually insane! Like, I get love is love regardless of someone's mental health issues, as somebody with a mental health disorder myself, but if you see someone is clearly suffering and getting like, let's murder the normies, like Akko is getting, that is not a sign that says stick your dick here. Buddy, you'd be better off with any other girl in the show. Just not Akko. So for her psycho antics and his falling for her despite all the warning signs to hit the eject button on this relationship, Rusian and Akko make this list.
Number 9. Mikagi and Ceres from Ayashi no Ceres. What started off as an unusual relationship between a goddess and her chosen partner turned into a global disaster that caused the deaths of so many people. One day, Mikagi loses a fight and gets really depressed over the fact that he couldn't properly protect his wife and children. So, Ceres, being the loving wife, gives him extra power so that he can feel strong enough to protect his family and village. This was a horrible idea, as he abuses his power by taking over other villages. Being a goddess, Ceres has to return to the heavens with her robes, but Mikagi was so selfish, he took her robes and tossed them into the ocean, where she could never find them ever again. This, plus murdering their first child, infuriated Ceres to the point where she had to kill him. Now without her robes, she is doomed to be reborn in his family's bloodline until she can find her robes once again. With every chance she had, she was instantly killed by her family until Aya was able to successfully escape and find refuge with another celestial family. Just as Ceres and Aya make a deal to find her robes together, it is revealed that Mikagi was reborn as Aya's twin brother, Aki. Oh, it gets really weird from here, ladies and gentlemen. Mikagi is way too stubborn to let his woman go, to the point where he was trying to kill every man that came near her. Not to mention, he tried to kill her because he found out that he wasn't her only mate, and was at that very point pregnant with Toya's child. At the very end of this celestial feud, his soul finally rests in the heavens with her, and all of his powers are gone. He confesses that he always loved her, and Ceres holds him in her arms and says, "I loved you too." This scene was very heartbreaking, since she still had feelings for the man she once knew before she made the dumbest mistake by giving him powers. With great powers comes great responsibility, and that is the sad lesson both her and Mikagi had to learn.
Number 8. Michiko Malandro and Hiroshi Morenos from Michiko and Hachi. This was an interesting series following a very poor role model just trying to get her life together. Yes, she had a shady past as a thief and a gang member, but watching her struggle to find her own happy ending made us root for this mama. Michiko met Hiroshi when they were just teenagers, and they became a sweet couple. Due to devastating circumstances, Michiko was arrested and hears that Hiroshi died in a bus explosion. Nearly a decade later, Michiko escapes from prison and decides to take her daughter away from an abusive foster family. She vows to then find her father, and the three of them can live happily ever after. However, once they were able to find him in the final episode, the cops are surrounding the entire city, which prompts Michiko to make an escape plan for Hiroshi and Hachi. Michiko is then escorted to jail as Hiroshi gives Hachi a pass to cross the border while promising to catch up with her and they can live happily together. Yeah, he ends up breaking that promise because he chooses to chase another woman instead. To a lot of viewers who rooted for Michiko, this was horrible. She loved this man and had high hopes for their future while praising this guy as the coolest man alive, but he ends up leaving her and their child for another woman. What a douchebag.
Number 7. Oh, look! Salt. Sasuke and Sakura from Naruto. Oh boy, I have been waiting for this day. Everything in my adult life has been building to this. Fuck you, Sasuke! Sakura, you deserve better. Girl, level to me woman to woman even though you're fictional. This fucking douchebag has left your team, knocked you out on multiple occasions, nearly got your friends and teammates killed, betrayed the entire village out of revenge because he wasn't hugged enough as a child or the mangaka was just fucking lazy, nearly got the entire world killed, and then made your teammate lose an arm, And then your whole village decides to welcome him back like the prodigal son, even though he's traipsing around and still hasn't found his stupid ass. Girl, you lied to Naruto's fucking face about not liking him. Then you go traipsing around with his ass who's already left the goddamn village once and still hasn't found himself. Sakura, you don't need him. You can break a brick wall with your fucking pinky and are an amazing healer. You want kids? Feel more satisfied with him? Fine. Use his ass as a sperm donor. Just don't put a ring on it. But seriously, after all the bullshit Sasuke pulled, seeing her take him back so easily is BS. I don't care if he's the prodigal son returned. He's a loner douche who's caused more pain and sorrow than joy. So here's to you, Sasuke, you selfish fucking prick, and the girl who clearly deserves better.
Number 6. Yuno Gasai and Yukiteru Amino from Mirai Aniki. There is nothing good about this relationship. These two were dragged into a crazy game of life or death together, and Yuno took to it like a fish to frickin' water. She relishes in the idea of killing people for the sake of protecting her precious Yuki. It doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter what they've done. She will even murder a child. She doesn't care. There are no standards with her. She was willing to go as far as to murder Yuki's mother just because Yuno wasn't sure she would approve of their relationship. She is nothing but manipulative and deceiving and goes out of her way to convince Yuki that she is the only person that will ever stay by his side. And eventually, that corruption and that deception completely takes over any rational thought that Yuki had to begin with, to the point where he even listens to her blatant lies and kills his best friends. Oh, but Yuki's not off the hook here. No. A lot of this with Yuno probably wouldn't have been fed so strongly if Yuki had just, backed off to begin with. At the very beginning of the game, he goes out of his way to side with Yuno and tell her exactly what she wants to hear, because he doesn't want to die. So he will deceive and manipulate Yuno to make sure that his own butt is saved throughout the entire game. These two deserve each other, and they definitely deserve a spot on this list.
Number 5. Goku and Chichi from Dragon Ball Z. There is no doubt that Chichi loved Goku and wanted to be his wife, but in the later years we're seeing just how bad of a wife she really is. When it comes to being a mother, she's an incredible one as she's able to raise a powerful child while making sure he has a secured future. As a wife, however, it's as if she really had no idea who she was marrying. Referencing MASAKO'S video on Is Vegeta Nicer Than Goku, he covers Akira Toriyama's analysis over the Saiyan mentality. It makes sense for someone like Vegeta to take pride in his wife and child, for one of the many duties the royal family has to perform is securing a partner and birthing a royal heir. Outside of the bond Bardock and his partner had, Saiyans don't usually recognize family members any more than their colleagues. Goku's behavior genetically programs him to treat his wife and child like they are his friends and nothing more. This is why he prioritizes his training above family's well-being. It doesn't mean he doesn't care for them, but rather treat them like as if they were colleagues. You would think Chi-Chi would eventually understand that, but she still expects Goku to be an ideal husband and father. He needs to spend more time with Gohan and his studies. He needs to stay around and help Chi-Chi when she wants him. He needs to learn how to drive so he can take her to the grocery store and help her with the groceries. Why couldn't she get a driver's license? This world isn't sexist or anything, considering how Bulma can drive any kind of vehicle on this bloody planet. Relationships are supposed to be a partnership where each person needs to understand the other in order to make it work. But with Goku's primal behavior and Chi-Chi's demanding expectations, it's a miracle how these two are still together.
I want a divorce.
Me too, I'm starving.
Number 4. We have a tie here from two different series, but they take place in the same universe. Yoshino Chiaki and Hattori Yoshiyuki from Sekaiichi Hatsukoi, and Yu Miyagi and Shinobu Takasuki from Junjo Romantica. With Chiaki and Hattori, the problem with this relationship is the love triangle. The completely unnecessary love triangle. Chiaki has a best friend who works with him as an artist on his manga, and Hattori, as his editor, doesn't really like this other guy and decides, hey, maybe you shouldn't really talk to him, he's kind of a jerk. But Chiaki is like, him? No, there's nothing wrong with him. He's a great guy. Despite his passive-aggressive tendencies towards Hattori, and despite his obvious advances towards Chiaki, he cannot see the fact that this man wants up on him. But at the end of the day, Chiaki and Hattori can go home to each other, know that they desperately care about each other, and have this mutual feeling of love and respect. Which is a hell of a lot more than I can say for Miyagi and Shinobu. In Junjo Romantica, each relationship is broken up with a certain nickname to kind of sum up the entirety of the relationship. Shinobu and Miyagi are called Junjo Terrorist. Their relationship is basically founded on the fact that Shinobu walked into Miyagi's life and is like, I fell in love with you. Now you need to take responsibility for that fact. So allow me to just move in because I say so, not because you want to, but because I am demanding this of you. I am demanding we have a relationship. And this is just a small drop in the bucket compared to everything else that Shinobu puts Miyagi through, not to mention Miyagi's own baggage and how he basically projects that onto his relationship with Shinobu. But they are also 17 years apart. Shinobu is 17 when the show debuted, and he was 17 when he moved into Miyagi's house. There's so much about this relationship that is just unhealthy. The way that Miyagi just allows Shinobu to do these things and doesn't reprimand him for anything. He just allows him to get away with calling him awful things and demanding that they have a relationship instead of being the adult of the relationship and telling Shinobu, no, we're not doing this, or this has to stop, or you can't tell me to do this, I'm your elder. It's a terrible relationship that is completely deserving of its namesake. In these shows, there's always that one relationship that nobody can get behind and that nobody supports. And with these two shows, there is never a debate. These two, between Sekai and Junjo, are definitely the bottom picks. And not bottom in a good way.
Number 3. Light and Misa from Death Note. The only love you'll find here is one-sided. Misa becomes the holder of the second Death Note and sacrifices half of her lifespan to get the Shimigani's eyes. She uses this power to track down Light and find out that he's Kira. Once she was able to meet him in person, she promises to help him defeat L, as long as he promises to be her boyfriend. Well, we're off to a great start with these two. Eventually, Light was able to use his wits and manipulate and control her, so she'll do whatever he says as long as he notices her. Not to mention any hope that Misa had at being a smart character goes down the drain when Senpai notices her. This is downright a poor relationship as Misa seems to be the only one romantically interested in. Light, however, only wishes to use her in his complicated scheme to become the new god of their world. He amuses her and keeps her close only to use her. Hell, he decides to up the ante by manipulating other women at the same time. With Light only caring about his goals, he will use, abuse, and manipulate anyone to get what he wants, including Misa, a hopeless romantic, foolish, convincing herself that Light loves her.
Number 2. Nana Komatsu and Takumi Ichinose from Nana. This couple is just a huge upset to the Nana fanbase. This was supposed to be just a fling between these two. Just a fan having a crush on him and the one-night stands they would have. That's all this relationship was, just a simple acknowledgement of each other as Takumi has other important things to do in his life. He would leave her many times alone, which wasn't good enough for her. Just then, the fan base rejoices as Nana finally sees how much Nobu loves her and they start their own relationship. Everything was right in the world. Nana was with the right man and Ren was still alive. However, the series takes a turn for the worst as Nana finds out that she is pregnant. Realizing Takemi's financial security and not wanting Nobu to give up his dream just to take care of her and their child, Nana chose to make Takemi the father and decides to marry him. And then Ren dies in a horrific accident just to add the cherry on top of this disastrous Sunday. Like, seriously, instead of choosing to be with the one she loves, she chooses Takemi so she can have a more secured future with someone who can actually take care of her and her baby. Does Takemi go with it? Yep, he just goes along with it while not really caring about their relationship. The series practically ends with Nana hoping she'll find happiness in this mundane marriage as she lives in Tokyo and he lives in London. What kind of a relationship is that?
Before we move forward, here are some honorable mentions that are just as horrible. Let's not forget these two. Ah!
Don't you dare! We may have just joined your team after you and Megan made that review.
But like hell we're gonna let you put them there.
Well, I didn't know we had some Sword Art Online fans on the team. Yay me. And the #1 worst couple in anime is... With every couple we have covered, there is at least one aspect that makes their relationship understandable. Mostly the reasons are stupid and downright awful, but there is at least something in their relationships. #1 has nothing. There is not one thing that makes sense in this god-awful relationship that is mostly sadistic, abusive, and cruel. And to top it all off, the one who does most of the abuse is none other than our pick for the most annoying character in anime. Louise and Saito from the Familiar of Zero. No matter how you look at their relationship in the following seasons, their relationship at the very beginning is terrible. Louise is from a proud family bloodline, but is considered a failure amongst her colleagues because she lacks any magical talent. She even messed up her familiar spell by accidentally summoning a regular boy from a different world. I understand that she suffered due to her unusual circumstances and has a lot of built-in anger. However, all of this doesn't mean she gets to take it all out on him. Saito has nothing to do with Louise's misfortune, but she feels the need to treat him like dirt because she can. Even if it's because he's nothing but her familiar, you see everyone else treating their familiars with love and kindness, unlike her. She will abuse him, neglect him, and insist on telling him what to do and what not to do, because he belongs to her. Never does she acknowledge that he is a human forced away from his home. If he is to speak out of line, speak to her enemies, or even flirt with other girls, she will beat him with a whip and blame it all on him. She is the most annoying character to begin with, since we see her actions as selfish and irredeemable, and yet somehow we're supposed to root for her. She is the hero of the story, and Saito's friendship is supposed to turn her into a better person. That's fine. As Saito accepts his fate, he can try to teach Louise through their friendship how to be a more compassionate person, and to not let her anger do all the talking. But you can't take this scenario and form a romance, especially with a character like Louise. If you are seriously trying to convince me that this is a legitimately romantic relationship, then I'd award Saito with the Stockholm Syndrome Award. Compared to the other nice girls who actually gave a damn about him, how does he choose to fall for her? the abuse diminishes a bit and she acknowledges Saito as a person eventually, but how can you form a relationship with how incompatible these two are? And in the end, as I stated before, no one wants to see the spoiled, selfish brat to get what she wants. For their aggressive history and forced romance, we deem Louise and Saito as the worst couple in anime. Alright, let's see what we got here. What would Grandma find disturbing yet oddly charming? Boku no Pico? That the only card you play, Sumi?
If you had any kind of balls, you'd review that shit.
You wanna be in my videos, you will forget that show ever existed.
I'm sure you'll like my card better, Robyn.
Contracts? Are you trying to offer contracts to little old ladies? I don't think I want to see magical golden girls.
Nice try, you plushy reject, but my card wins.
Oh yeah? Do you really want to go there?
Guys, seriously, let's not form any unnecessary rivalries. That topic needs to be saved for the next top 10 list. Stay tuned!
Ah, if only Light would love me, then we could be together forever. He would be my waifu. He would write me stories and then read them to me. Ah. Notice me, Death Senpai. Notice me.
Thanks again so much for watching. To keep up with the latest info on Anime America, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. If you wish to support Anime America, be sure to share this video as well as leaving a comment and liking our video. If you wish to support us financially, we have a Patreon page, posters for sale on Store Envy, and awesome shirts on Teespring. Be sure to check out more of our videos here, as well as our sister channel Pop Spectrum. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned to Anime America.